Hello everyone, welcome back to GeekDisorder's web series over HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, and jQuery. This is Lavik and I'll be walking you through this series. Today we're going to be going over how to add text shadows to your text elements. Alright, like a header, a paragraph, stuff like that. Anything you want to add a text shadow to, you can. Alright, so we're going to look at that, and to start off we have a basic HTML5 document here. I'm going to add an H1 element so I can target it and change the add a text shadow to whatever I put in it, and I'm just gonna put this is some how about awesome text. There we are. Go ahead and close my H1. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and run this, see what we got here so far. Pretty basic. This is some awesome text. Alright, I'm gonna go up in my style here. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a comment just to give you the syntax for a text shadow, and it's dash shadow colon. Alright, first you have two mandatory properties with text shadow, and that is horizontal offset and vertical offset. The first one you're going to put is a horizontal offset. Alright, and what this does is it moves your text shadow to the right or to the left based off of if you put a negative or positive number. A positive number will move it to the right, a negative number will move it to the left. Next you have a vertical offset. Pretty self-explanatory. This moves your text shadow either down the web page or up the web page. A positive number will move the text shadow down, a negative number will move the text shadow up. So if you want it above your text, you're going to put a negative number. If you want the text shadow below your text, you'll put a positive number. Alright, the next two properties are both optional. You don't have to put them. But the first one is your blur radius. And what does this do? It kind of blurs the text shadow itself. Alright, you can get a couple different effects out of that. Alright. Next is the actual shadow color. What color do you want your text shadow to be? That's all it is. One note on shadow color is I have it right here at the end of all my properties, but it can go before horizontal offset. Either way, at the end or before, it will work both ways. Alright, but most of the time I see it at the end, so I'm going to leave mine at the end. Alright, so let's go ahead and try to add one to our H1. So we need to target our H1 first, so open and close curly braces here. Alright, and I'm going to add text shadow. Alright, now for my horizontal offset, I'm going to use pixels. You can use EMs and such, but I'm going to use pixels. So I want to move my text shadow to the right. I'm going to move it 3 pixels. Okay. Now for my vertical offset, I want to move it down, so I'm going to move it another 3 pixels. I'm going to put my semicolon, and we're going to see what we have so far. And that's what we get. And if you notice, that's a little hard to read. So let's see if we can fix that. I'm not going to change my vertical and horizontal offsets. Instead, I'm going to add a blur radius, and I'm going to give it a blur radius of 4 pixels. Okay, that's how much I'm going to blur or stretch my text shadow. And so let's see what we got here. Alright, as you can see, that's a little bit easier to read. Okay, we kind of blurred that shadow out, and it is easier. Alright, now let's add a color to it. Let's give it a nice blue and see what we get. Oh, not okay. Not blur, blue. There we are. Go ahead and launch this, and there you go. There's a text shadow, blurred, and it has a blue color to it. Alright, so a couple notes on setting up your text shadow. If you put a comma, like I did when making this video, anywhere in here except for at the end, if you're trying to add another text shadow, and we'll look at that in a second, but if you put it in here between like your horizontal and your vertical offset, and you save and run this, it will break your text shadow. Okay, small little mistakes like that can be kind of difficult to find, make you wonder what, because if you're like me and you program a lot, sometimes commas go in between properties and stuff. So it took me minute to see that. If I remove my standard of measurement, like here I have 3, but I don't tell it pixels or EMs or anything, and I save and run this, that will also break your text shadow. If you have multiple text shadows like we're about to look at, it will break all your text shadows. Same with a comma. So let's add that back in. Alright, and I said we do have multiple text shadows we can do. So let's go ahead and look at that. I'm going to change my color here, and I'm going to do like an orange color. Alright, and I'm going to change my horizontal to 1, my vertical to 1, and my blur, I'm going to go with a 3. Alright, so we move to the end. I put a comma. Alright, and now I just start over with my next text shadow that I want to add to this H1. And I'm going to go to 3 pixels up, 3 pixels up, and this is above your text. It doesn't go from the other text shadow. Alright, I'm going to blur it 3 pixels, and I'm going to give it, actually let's go back, let's give this a red, oops, sorry, and I'm going to give this an orange. Let's go ahead and save, see what we got. There we are, we have that right there. Alright, now I want to add another one. I'm going to go 1 pixel, or sorry, let's go 5 pixels, 5 pixels, 3 pixels, and let's give it a red, or, sorry, yellow. We've already done red. Go ahead and run that again. And you can see you can kind of layer out your text shadows here. Alright, let's see, something else we can do is, if I remove all these, I can do 2 pixels here, 2 pixels on our vertical, 2 pixel blur, and I can do a, let's say, red. Okay? And then I can do comma, and I can do a -2 pixels, a -2 pixels, I can do 2 pixel blur, and I can do a blue. Alright, and let's go ahead and look at this. See, so you can kind of make different looks with your text shadows. And I'm not an artist, I'll say that right now, or a designer. So you can probably make something a lot more awesome than I am making. But you can mess around with them. Feel free, kind of play with it, see what you can do. For your text shadow color here, I'm using keywords. You can use RGB, hex, anything you want, but I am using keywords. So you can actually, any color you can think of, just plug it in there. You can change your text colors and such to kind of play around with all your different options, make something really cool. This has been Live with Geek Disorder. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do like our comment, remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see y'all next time.